Hello and welcome to Innovate Leader Series. These are sessions where I share some critical values that can be able to help you as a leader to scale up your leadership lead, but more importantly is to help you as a leader to really build highly engaged and productive teams. My name is Gilbert Angana, or Coach Gilbert. I'm the CEO of Ascent Leadership Group. And our focus as Ascent Leadership Group is basically to advance leadership advocacy in Africa and beyond. And we do this through coaching, we do this through teaching and training, we do this through consulting and research. And our aim is to actually build a movement of leaders whose power of influence will far exceed the authority of their position. So today's discussion centers around what am I missing? I was in a class for advanced coaching last few weeks, and we were discussing around the lenses in the growth of psychology as a concept, from a historical context to contemporary lenses and perspectives. And the whole aspect around it was to enable us as coaches to have an understanding of our coaching awareness. And it's actually through that perspective that today's discussion in this podcast is actually brought on board. This week I had an opportunity to share the same discussion with a group of young student council, student leaders in my local school here. And I was called up to talk to them about some leadership aspect, noting that there's young leaders in their schools, and they just want to scale up and understand how will they do their role in a much better way. And what came up into my mind was this aspect of what are they missing? What am I missing as a leader? And I just want to start by throwing in a few questions to you. And the first one is, what positive attributes do you have that people have actually shared with you on? People have told you that these are the positive things that you have. At the back, as you see, the red cloth here is actually a whole chart that then helps that I shared with my professional group, and each of the group members were actually writing the positive aspect about me that they like, and so many of them wrote various good things around it. So if you look at yourself, what are some of those positive attributes that people have shared with you on, and they like? This is what they like about you, and you are possibly aware of them. The second question that I need to challenge you on is, what about the things that you do, that you know that you do, that are hurting the team? And this could be because of your own individual awareness, or it could be because people have told you that when you do these things, whether you do them consciously or unconsciously, that they are hurting the team. At the back of this chart a few things that I had written about myself, in terms of, I feel that when I do 1, 2, 3 things for me, sometimes it comes out in a different light to the people that I lead. And one of them is sometimes I come out too aggressive, especially when I'm driving a specific agenda. And I know this is something that I've been told by my professional groups. This is something that I've been told by people that I lead. This is something that I've been told even at home with my wife. Sometimes when I drive my agenda, I really come out too aggressive. So that is something that at the back of my mind, I'm aware and I'm conscious in terms of how I engage, how I push my agenda, so that it doesn't come out as too aggressive for people. The last question that I need to ask you is, what about the things that you don't know about, but they are hurting the team? What are some of these things that possibly you don't know about, but because of your interactions with your team, because of your interaction with your friends, because of your interactions with your peers, people have told you, by the way, this is something that when you do, it hurts people around you. And it could be something in most cases that you do consistently and unconsciously because you're not aware in most times. Because the ones that you're aware, then you become conscious around how you engage. But there are things that you're not aware, and this is what we call the blind spots. That some of our blind spots that we consistently do things that are hurting our teams and we are not aware of. What are these things? Because these are the genesis of what we are saying, that what are you missing as a leader? What are these things that are missing in you that when they come to light, then your leadership awareness, your coaching awareness as a coach will actually be enhanced positively. And again, the question is, what are you missing? Our leadership awareness has a significant impact in terms of how we engage with our teams, how we connect with our teams, how we influence our teams. There are things that we bring on board from a leadership perspective as universal values to the team. And in the end, they end up hurting the team more. And if you're not careful, these things might not come to light because possibly you're not allowing opportunities where your team members or your peers actually give you constructive feedback on the same. As a coach, how you show up in coaching sessions with clients, sometimes you come in with values that unconsciously impose such values to your clients, and you might not be aware, but you can only be aware when you take time for the client to give you feedback frequently at different stages. Imagine as a leader if you ask your team members, what am I missing? As a coach, if you ask your clients at frequent intervals what they felt that you missed in your coaching conversations, that will be what you're missing. But how do you go about that? Because what you're missing, what is the impact in terms of when you're talking about what are you missing? What is the impact of that? Because the impact of that is then, if you lack that understanding in terms of what you're missing, then what it means that there's a lot of assumptions that you bring on board in your conversations with your team. There's a lot of assumptions that you bring on board in your conversations with your clients. But you can only understand what you're missing when you start challenging those assumptions yourself from a personal awareness perspective. When you start challenging those assumptions and you start becoming more objective as a leader, as a coach, when your team start also challenging some of those assumptions that you bring on board, then you start positioning yourself in an objective way as a leader. As a client, when you have those intervals where you are, as a coach, that is, when you have those intervals where your client gives you feedback, then you start having that objective engagement with your client and being aware of some of the unconscious values that you bring on board in your coaching conversations. And this is what broadens your perspective as a leader. This is what broadens your perspective as a coach. So how do you overcome? How do you start inculcating practices that will help you consistently understand what you're missing? And the first practice is humility. That you will not understand what you are missing unless you have the humility to ask. Unless you have the humility to actually ask for constructive feedback. Without that, then you find that you keep on hurting people. You keep on imposing your values as a coach to your clients. And eventually they will not see they will not really feel the actual value of your coaching process. As a leader, you start imposing values on the team as universal values. Yet these values are according to you. Then you're killing the innovation. You're killing the team spirit that needs to be inculcated for you to be able to build a highly engaged and productive team. So practice humility. The second one is have the hunger for growth, because you can only improve in terms of understanding what you're missing when you have the hunger for growth as a leader. As a coach, you're not the expert. Coaching evolves. You're dealing with different personalities, different human beings. So you have to have the hunger to understand how you can be able to have better coaching engagement, how you show up in terms of your coaching awareness by learning, by reading, by watching, improving yourself with personal development in various aspects. And the last one is you need to be ready for change. You need to be able to apply the learnings that you're getting. You need to be able to practice those learnings that you are receiving. And that's what prepares you for change. So what are you missing? What will enhance your objectivity? What will enhance your perspective or broaden your perspective? What will be able to enable you to challenge assumptions and pass the same to your teams, pass the same to your client? Is when you practice humility, when you have hunger for growth, and when you are ready for change. That's what will bridge the gap of what you're missing. So thank you very much. I hope I've added value to you. My name is Gilbert Tangana. I'm the CEO of Ascent Leadership Group. And get in touch with us through the links that are shared. And we'll be glad to work with you on a journey of leadership development with your team. Thank you.